What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise Postgame show presented by Manta Sleep Mask. The Blazers today, they win again. Back-to-back wins, Eric. It's a miracle. It's a monumental feat. I know it was against the Charlotte Hornets and Washington Wizards, but the Blazers have won back-to-back games. Unfortunately, this kind of all but takes them out of any sort of tank race with 6 games left on the season. The Hornets even did work today and beat the Orlando Magic. But unfortunately, the Blazers, for the tank picture, get another win. Still 2 games away from the Hornets. We'll take a look at the tank picture, but it looks like the Blazers might be finally locked into 5th place lottery odds as Scoot Henderson, DeAndre Ayton, and Delano Banton do their part again for the Blazers in this one. Eric, how's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good. How about yourself, Tori?
It's going good. You know, the last game against the Hornets was really the tanking Super Bowl, and with that win against the Hornets, it took away my lust for tanking in a way, right? And then the Hornets got up big on the Magic, and all of a sudden it came back, and the Blazers still win. Cool moments to see Scoot play well once again. It's good to see him get on track to end the year. That's what we were hoping for. He had a big and one there against a really good defender in Denny Avdia there in the clutch. 19.7 assists, only 3 turnovers for him. Played 30 minutes, did flirt with some foul trouble, but really good stat line, good efficiency for the second game in a row. 8 for 14 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 6 for 10 inside the arc. Good to see him have some efficient games, put those together. Many of his 7 assists went to DeAndre Ayton, who finished with a Portland high 34 points and 13 rebounds to go along with 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So he's filling up the stat sheet 13 for 25. And he shot 9 free throws today, Eric. That's the most shocking stat line of the season is DeAndre Ayton shooting 9 free throws.
Yeah, we did get fouled on like a turnaround jumper a couple times, but yeah.
Still,
overall, I liked his aggressiveness tonight. Yeah, Scoots as well.
Yeah. You had Banton. While he was 8 for 20, not an efficient night. This was kind of a Banton type of night. He filled up the stat sheet, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 for 6 from 3, 6 for 14 inside the arc. Got to the line 5 times, made 3 of his free throws. Was a team high plus 14, though. Filled up the stat sheet, made plays, hit some big-time shots down the stretch. And it's just those 3 guys right now. Chris Murray had 13 and 5, 6 for 13 from the field, but only 1 for 5 from 3. That's a typical Chris Murray shooting night. Jabari Walker's been filling up the stat sheet as well, 13 boards for him. Against these bad teams, it's less surprising to see Jabari Walker, guys like Chris Murray, contribute in ways that they don't normally contribute. And with Jabari tonight, 3 assists. Normally he's not really a passer like that, or not really a playmaker. You know, it's not that he's not willing, he just doesn't have the ball in his hands enough and isn't put in a position to have games like he did today with 3 assists. So filled up the stat sheet, dominated on the boards for the second game in a row. Not quite 22 rebounds, but this Washington team was starting Tristan Vukcevic, who has barely played in the NBA, is new to the league, didn't have much size, and Jabari took advantage of that. But, let's start with Scoot. He's looking like he did before the All-Star break. Is this his best 2-game stretch, though, of the season? And how much do we have to take into account who these games came against?
Yeah, no defense by the other team. I'd say these last 2 games are pretty good. I don't know off the top of my head if it's his best 2 games, but I'll take it. It's a step in the right direction. I thought he played really well tonight. Still a little out of control. Had a charge overturned. Had another offensive foul tonight. Just gets a little too pushy with his off arm sometimes. But, I think overall, just in terms of decision-making, between shooting in the right spots versus passing, it sounds so simple, but just giving the ball to DA when he's hitting those mid-range shots is like it is a very simplistic thing, but it's also the sign of a team that knows what they're doing, or a player that knows what he's doing when you keep feeding the hot hand. And I thought he made a lot of good decisions tonight. And my favorite play from Scoot was after he turned the ball over, he got back on defense and stole the ball back. I didn't want him to do it on that play. I was hoping because I think it was still, I think they were down, or the Wizards are down 1 or 3 or something at the time. So, um, like, I was hoping that the Wizards got that fast break and won the game, but like credit to him for actually getting back after a turnover and getting the steal and getting the ball right back.
Yeah, those passes to DA, yes, they look simple, but he's hitting them in the right spot. We know DA doesn't have the best hands. You got to place that pass in a position where he can catch it and go up straight into his jump shot. So those passes are quick, on time, and in the right spot, and that's an underrated thing because if you're throwing it a little off, there's a chance DA could bobble it. We've seen him bobble a number of passes that hit him right in the hands all year long, and also if that pass isn't quick enough, that mid-range jumper isn't there. So it's just simple, little nuanced things on a simple play that Scoot did a good job of today. Yes, had 3 turnovers, but 7 assists and 3 turnovers. A 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is kind of my goal for him each and every game. So 7 assists, 3 turnovers. I don't really like classifying him as too out of control in this game. He needs to play aggressive. He needs to use his speed and put pressure on a defense, and sometimes that's going to result in him stepping over the edge. But as long as he's creating more shots for others than he's turning the ball over, like he did tonight, I'm happy with it. And as long as he's efficient as well, compared to getting stuck and throwing up weird shots around the rim that have no chance of going in, then I'm happy as well. And I think he did both those things tonight. So I think overall, pretty good game.
Yeah, and if you just take out the fact that obviously you and I mean, feel free to think different if you're wanting them to win still or whatever. I don't really care if that's what you want. Just don't tell us how to root. But being as like I was hoping we had these good performances, but then lost at the end, like we almost did. But seeing Scoot make a clutch drive and finish and one to seal the game was really cool. Probably really good for his confidence as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of like a good end to the season Scoot needed for his confidence. I think
it's just a moment of like stepping up and making a play in the clutch and winning a game. You know, I think that's good. I don't really put a lot of stock into just like, oh, he needs these games to win, but I just think having some moments like that he can reflect back on are good.
Oh, 100%, you know, and given some of his struggles, he has things to motivate him to work this offseason. But it's funny because Scoot played well before the All-Star break, played well before he got hurt, right? Came back and had some struggles, some high turnover games, some poor shooting nights. But if you look at his last 9 games, his worst shooting night is a game where he went 6 for 16 against Atlanta and 6 for 16 against Orlando, right? Which that's not a good shooting night. But the last 9 games, that's his worst shooting nights. That's far better than it was earlier in the season. Like he's becoming more efficient, especially inside the arc, right? He has games, last 9 games, 8 for 18, 9 for 20. It's not 50%, but it is more efficient than what he's been all season long, which is a 38% shooter, right? So 8 for 18, 9 for 20, 6 for 14, 8 for 18. Last 2 games, 9 for 16, and 8 for 14. That's back-to-back games, these last 2 games, where he's shot above 50% from the field, which it took him a while at the start of the season to shoot above 50% from the field. His first game of the year where he shot above 50% was on Friday, January 19th. Oh, wait, no, there was a game before that. It was Friday, January 12th against Minnesota. He was 3 for 4, though. It wasn't on volume.
Right.
Okay. And then the following night, 11 for 31 against Phoenix. You know, that was the 33-point game, but he was 11 for 31 and just shot a bunch of shots. He did have a 4 for 4 game in 8 minutes. I think he got hurt in the game against Indiana on January 19th. But the first game where he shot above 50% on more than 10 shots a game was January 31st against Milwaukee. And since then, he's had multiple games. He's had an 8 versus 15 against Denver. And then the last couple of nights, he's just been more efficient. That's what I was looking from him, is more efficient inside the arc. Obviously, it's nice to see him back-to-back games where he shoots 4 for 7 and 2 for 4 from 3. You love to see that shot coming around. He's had some decent shooting games mid to late March. Couple 3 for 6, 2 for 4, 2 for 5 performances in there. So the shot looks good. Teams still aren't really respecting it as much as maybe they should. But just the overall finishing inside the arc, while it still needs some improvement and it's not, necessarily where it needs to be, I'm just happy that we're seeing progress in terms of him being able to finish inside the arc, because that was a major problem earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think for me what it is I think he's being a little more selective on when he shoots. He's not forcing shots as much.
Yeah.
Because we saw those games where he'd score 20 points on 22 shots or whatever. So I think in this particular lineup where Simons and Grant aren't there and stuff, you would think he'd be forcing more shots. So I kind of like that he's in that mid-teens range most of these games without those guys. And that's right where he should be. I think even at his peak, I don't want him shooting a ton of shots. I want him being more like he's playing these last couple of games, where he's a facilitator slash just wizard out there, to use that pun wasn't intended, but I just want him to be the maestro out there, setting everything up, controlling everything, and I think he's been doing a much better job of that these last few games. Just not necessarily going out there and trying to score as many points as you can, being more focused on making the right plays and stuff like that. And it doesn't always result in more assists when you don't have the greatest spacing and shooting and stuff around you. But I do think he is getting a little bit better on knowing when to, drive into the paint, when he has an advantage, when he doesn't, when to pass to DA, like I said, things like that. So it's nice to see him progress a little bit in that towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that's just point guard stuff that a rookie ultimately learns with more experience. And it's not even that he's shooting less, it's that he's forcing less bad shots. Like, with him, it's if he can get to the point where he can take 25 efficient shots a game, I'm cool with that, if they're efficient, right? So it's all about...
There, yeah.
No, of course not. I mean, 25 is a lot. That's a little high, right? But the entire point is taking better shots doesn't necessarily have to mean shooting less. It just means picking your spots better and attacking better. There was a couple of drives where he set up the defense in a way, kept his dribble and didn't force maybe the first driving lane he had and took the second one. There was a drive late in this game going left. That was a perfect example of that. And that's just where picking his spots, knowing when to attack, that's stuff that comes with experience. And I think that was the biggest problem for him earlier in the season, was he would force shots that weren't there. And it's impressive to see him still shoot. This month he's shooting 16, 16, 14 field goals last 3 games. That's pretty on par with March. He shot 14 field goal attempts a game in March. He's playing a few more minutes, so it's about the same, right? About the same volume of shots. But he's taking better shots. He's not forcing as many weird layups. He's not trying to be as crafty around the rim. It was almost to the point where he was trying to be too crafty around the rim. So I'm enjoying that, and that's where I expect him to ultimately become a more efficient player, is continuing to refine that three-point shot, hopefully shooting like he has the past couple of nights more often, and then picking his spots better on the interior, as well as learning some more nuanced finishes in certain situations to be able to drive and attack and finish in certain situations he struggles in right now. The biggest thing for that is becoming better with his left hand finishing around the rim, because he goes with his right when he's driving left a little too much and has gotten blocked or shot tough layups because of it. But he's definitely getting better, and that's all we can ask for, man. And it's why I said a few games ago, even if he struggles the rest of the year, I just want to see him after a full offseason where he knows what to work on. But if he gets better, it's a good sign to see him make progress, and that's what we're seeing right now. That's all we can ask for out of another month of April where we're supposedly tanking, but right now we are 2-1 in.
Yeah, I feel like there's several times where he earlier in the season would try that reverse layup with his right hand going baseline, and now he's looking to pass when he gets baseline almost every time. And I like that adjustment. I really like when guards get into the baseline area or get into the middle of the paint and look to kick out to shooters, because that's usually when you have someone open after you collapse the defense. And I feel like you mentioned it, like he's not forcing that shot as much. So yeah, good to see.
You know what I think is going to be his bread and butter is the deceleration finish.
The finish at the end.
The finish he had at the end. Mm-hmm. Because he has a certain level of body control. He's athletic enough to decelerate pretty quickly and like hang in the air, and he has a long wingspan. It's really hard to defend that because as a point guard, as the quickest player on the floor, right, you get into somebody's body and get a little bit of a step, and they're starting to turn and run with you. If you can create a little contact as you decelerate and hang back and finish like that, it is nearly impossible to block, and it is extremely hard to guard, right? And he seems to have that down. There's been a couple of finishes lately where he's done that move, and they've been really, really good. And you look at a lot of players, and they have a move that's kind of their bread and butter. Just to come up with an athletic point guard comparison, Ja Morant, his kind of bread and butter go-to move is that cross jab on the perimeter, right? He does that really well, and is able to just get into the lane, like freeze defenders with that constantly, right? Like certain players have certain things that they do pretty consistently at a higher level than anyone else in the league if they're a star caliber player. Dame, was pull up threes going left off a screen. Like he was insane with that, right? He had other things like the inside hand finish on the left side with the right hand. He knew when to use it though. That's something Scoot has to learn. I think one of Scoot's bread and butter shots is that slow down, decelerate, hang back, and finish on the right side. And it's a stark contrast to the types of finishes he's attempted where he struggled this season, where he just kind of like tries to throw his body into the defense to draw the foul and then, draw contact and then like flail something up there. He's under control, and he's using the defender's momentum against them. And that's something that he still has to learn. That's what a lot of the best creators do, is they know how to get the defender moving one way or leaning forward or on their heels. They use their defender's body positioning against them. And when you're driving right like that, you got a defender running with you on your hip and you're able to decelerate as quick as Scoot can and hang back, that defender's going to keep going, right? He doesn't, it takes a split second to react to that before you can slow down, and Scoot's able to rise up out of that, get that shot off. So I love that shot for him. I think that's going to be a shot that he's going to be able to get off. It's not even something where he even has to turn the corner on the defender. He just has to get into them a little bit and get his shoulder even with them, create a little bit of contact, use that strength. So he's going to learn certain finishes, I think, as his career progresses, that he's going to be able to resort to consistently, and that's when you'll see him be a much better finisher, and I think that's one of them.
Yeah, it's like for a defender, it's natural to want to expect the offensive player to keep going like right into a layup package or whatever. So if you can perfect that, that is a really good move to have, because you can really, even if they're expecting it, it's still really hard to just stop with him when he stops. So maybe if they put like a longer or stronger defender on him, one that doesn't go for it, maybe that's something. Or like if a center gets switched or helps off and can still block that shot, because the only problem with it is you have a pretty low release point once you stop, so you have to be kind of open. But if you can get the defender to be fooled, it is pretty easy lay-in once you fool him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's tough to block that shot, because you have to decelerate, stop, and then jump and meet him. At that time, the shot's already off.
For the defender, but I'm saying if there was a help guy or a
help guy, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, though. I expect Scoot to get to the point where he's able to decelerate off that read a help defender and make a pass. Because that's the one thing I like about that move. You're slowing yourself down to be able to read a help defender in the first place. Whereas if you're just driving into somebody and just trying to go quick and like throw your body into them, a lot of times you're not going to see that help defender. And Scoot's had that problem this year, right? Being able to take those 2 steps to slow down and get in the air and hang, I think he might be a guy that can make passes out of that even, which would be very intriguing. But yeah, I mean, that's the goal, obviously. And the thing is that move specifically, when you don't beat your defender fully off the dribble, the help is less likely to rotate all the way because you almost look contained. Right?
Yeah.
And
well, unless it's coming from the middle, which it usually would in that situation. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, so it's just a very intriguing move for him, you know. There's going to be times where maybe it's not the best to use that move, but that's what I want to see him develop over the rest of the season and into the offseason. It's just a couple bread and butter type of finishes that in certain situations he knows he can get off against NBA caliber defenses, and he's comfortable with finishing. Because a lot of times it seems like he drives and he doesn't quite know exactly what to do. And I think that is one of them, driving right. Even if he doesn't fully beat a defender off the dribble, he can always resort to that finish. He should work on it more so that he can make it more efficient, work on his touch on it, and then obviously work on things going to the left side of the rim with his left hand, etc.
Yeah, well, you're struggling to finish, you need a go-to move, and if he wants to start with that, I think that's a good starting point for him. Now, eventually, you need counters off of it and other moves, but I think that's a real good start if he just focuses on that as his primary move in those positions there.
Yep. And then the last 9 games, he's averaging 7 assists per game.
Nice.
And I don't know, when did Ant go out?
I think it was about then, right?
Yeah, so since we've seen him basically be given the keys to the offense, he's averaging 7 assists per game. That's, for a rookie, man, we had this conversation last stream, like, that's pretty good. Turnovers have been a problem. That's why tonight was so nice. First game, he had less than 4 turnovers since the 20th against the Clippers, which was coincidentally 9 games ago, right? But he had 5 assists, 2 turnovers in that one. You know, he's had some big assist games, 10 assists, 4 turnover performance against the Clippers. But he's had games where he's had, 6 assists, 7 turnovers, 6 assists,
right.
6 turnovers recently. And that's just where continuing to learn from his mistakes is a good thing. Like, we can sit here and be like, yeah, that's bad. 6 turnovers is bad. But I don't think we necessarily have to phrase it that way. It's more so, to me, like 6 turnovers, that's something that he can learn from. That's something that can be a teaching moment, right? You can almost turn that into a positive if he can learn from it, right? Not that you want him to be making mistakes, but it's not like him trying things right now while we're tanking, while we're playing in April, winning 21 games. It's not like him trying stuff that maybe eventually ultimately ends up in a turnover. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a thing that he can learn through that experience, learn from his mistakes, and just continue to experiment and grow as a player.
Hopefully.
I mean, he's going to. He's a rookie. He's going to grow as a player. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you just blanketly say that all turnovers are good because it's a learning experience.
No,
but
I just said that they're not good, but you can learn from them, and that can ultimately be a positive if you can learn from your mistakes, right? Like, obviously, I wish he was averaging 0 turnovers a game, but that's not realistic. He's going to turn the ball over as a rookie point guard, right? And it's just, I don't really view it. There has been some post games where I'm like, yeah, 7 turnovers, that's really bad, right? As I think about it now, I probably shouldn't even be viewing it that way because it's, 7 turnovers. Yeah, it's not good in the moment, but we're worried about what Scoot's going to be long term more so than what he is right now, right? So ultimately, games like that, learning experiences. And that goes entirely back to, man, I'm excited to see what this dude does after an off season of work, after another year in the league to gain that experience, because that's going to be I think that stuff's going to improve and he's going to continue to learn from his mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want some bad news though, Tori?
Sure, give me the bad news.
No, we're lagging.
That is bad news.
I think we're back though. It's really choppy.
It's every stream, man. Every stream. My download speed is trash too.
But
I think we're coming back. I think we're good now. Yeah, I think we're good now. At least my internet speed tester says we're good now.
yeah.
Chat, are we good? No, I got new cables, but I can't detach them from the splitter that I have because I think it might be the cables. So I got new cables. I just literally can't detach them. I can't replace them. So I might just get a new splitter. It's probably easier. I was literally sitting there before the past couple streams, like trying to unscrew it. Literally just stuck to the thing. So, yeah, definitely gonna figure it out. I'm trying things, so I just need to go buy a splitter now.
All right, Tori, here's the bad news.
Yeah.
Spurs just beat the Pelicans in New Orleans. The Hornets also won tonight, so
I mean,
this could have been a very good loss for us.
Yeah, the bad news has already hit me. The tank is dead. Like, we missed our chance to have top 3 odds. Hopefully, we're not lamenting that on May 12th. The lottery is literally like a little over than a month away, which is crazy. But yeah. Charlotte won, and Charlotte beat a playoff team, and San Antonio beat a playoff team. We could have been tied for 3rd right now.
Yep.
But we'll take a look at Tankathon a little bit. But yeah, still 2 games away. It's kind of crazy because you have the Blazers, the Hornets, and the Spurs winning today.
Macabentus is tuning in from Sydney, Australia. What's up, man?
Shout out to Sydney, Australia. We got a lot of people in Australia that watch the channel, so shout out to all of the Australians out there that watch the channel.
Tyler says May 12th is so far away still. It's 4 weeks from Sunday, right?
It's not that far away,
or
man.
5 weeks from Sunday?
It's not that far away.
5 weeks from Sunday, yeah.
The season has been a blur, man. I feel like the season just started in a way.
We only have 5 games left now?
Yeah. Yep. 5 games. Can't believe it. Ayton played well again today.
Well, he should when he's playing against Anthony Gill and somebody who's been in the NBA for like a week.
Yeah. Yeah. It is good to see him play well, though. Good to see him get 9 free throws. I mean, this is just a typical DA high-scoring game. He did shoot 25 times. But it was 13 for 25 on 2s. The thing is if he didn't shoot a single free throw, 13 for 25 from the field with no 3s, no free throws, truly isn't efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what? Let me think of, like, that's 1.04 points per shot. It's equivalent to 104 offensive rating. Like, that's not efficient, right? But you get to the line 9 times because you're taking shots inside the arc. It's a more efficient night because he's 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Those are efficient possessions that he gets to the line. 34 points on 25 shots. You'll take that. That makes it an efficient night. So that makes a game like this a productive scoring night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought DA was good. And, man, it's just... Whether it's, like, efficient or not, I mean, obviously he's hitting them, so it is right now, but what an easy way to pad your assist numbers, just handing it to him. Because you can hit that mid-range shot over anyone.
Yeah.
And it's just so good right now. So, yeah, easy way. But I did like one of the times he got fouled, he had a spin move towards the basket. from the block and completely got in between two defenders. He had a couple nice plays just running the floor, getting a foul that way, having to be fouled so he doesn't get an easy shot, or getting good early post position. Or there are a few times where he was trailing the break a little bit and they just forgot about him and he ran right to the right spot and took it hard and dunked it. So I really, I mean, I've been enjoying watching him play lately. Um, he's really reminded me of Hassan Whiteside in some of these post game interviews with just some of his quirks and stuff like that. But
What do you say today?
it's not necessarily like a quotable thing, like it's a cold world bundle up or anything. But like I don't know, he's just like goofy like that, like he's always like clowning around, like he's never serious, and that's how Whiteside was always,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's good. It seems like these last couple games, I mean, I know it's easy to say with wins, but it seems like it's done a lot for like the chemistry between Scoot and Aiton and some of the guys on the team. Like there was a bunch of people like interrupting his post game press conference with or interview with Brooke. I don't know. He's becoming kind of a leader, which is kind of scary, but also kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, like long term or anything. But
I don't even want to think about the long term. Like everything you're saying right now, I just don't even want to think about the long term. Like cool in the moment. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone enjoys winning, right? Unless you win by losing. Then it gets complicated. But the players obviously aren't going to care about lottery ping pong balls. So
right, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Aiton doesn't want us to get the number one pick and draft Sarr, even though he can play the 4,
Yeah. Yeah. Banton, 8 assists, 8 boards. Kind of a Banton-esque game in a way.
Yeah, he ends up with 20 shots, which is, like I said, way too many. But I did think, especially
someone has to take them.
Right.
We don't have many players to take them, so I don't know.
I did feel like in the first half of this game, especially, he was seeming like he was driving with a purpose to pass. And that's all I've asked for him since he's been traded here. Because I feel like he could be so good at that. And he had some really nice passes to Aiton as well. One, he had to like lead him down the paint in between two guys.
Yeah.
Just put it right on the money for an easy shot for Aiton. So yeah, I liked his vision on that one. And then it was actually a really interesting play design too. Have to give credit to, I think it was designed that way, but so DA was going to. They were doing their dribble handoff thing, but after he handed it off, Ruper was there for a back screen on DA, and it got him open. But it collapsed the weak side corner defender. So if they ran that again and they did the same thing defensively, that swing pass cross court to the corner 3 would have been open as well. I know we don't necessarily have the shooters in that spot if that's Chris Murray or whoever, but yeah, just I thought that was a nice little wrinkle in that play when you can do some things off of it. So I hope in the future we see more creative stuff like that from Chauncey.
Yep. Speaking of Ruper, his like secondary playmaking, I feel like is real, man. I've talked about it before. In this game, 4 assists. He did play 32 minutes, so extended run for him, which is nice. 4 assists, 1 turnover, Eric. Like, he legitimately makes the right pass, makes pinpoint passes, passes the ball crisp. Like, he's never going to be the best passer on the court unless you got, I don't know, Pat Beverly as a point guard maybe. But he's a legitimate like passer for a raw 19-year-old defensive-minded prospect that was taken in the second round. And it's part of the reason why I liked Herb Jones so much when he was taken in the second round. He was a much older prospect when he was drafted, but at Alabama, he had a lot of like playmaking flashes and stuff, and it was like, yeah, this guy's never going to be somebody you run the entire offense through or anything, but in the flow of the offense, he can make the right play, and that's an understated thing. Ruper, like, he's struggling driving. He's struggling finishing. He's struggling with his balance a little too much. He gets blocked a little too much. He needs to get stronger so he can use his body on some of these finishes. There's a lot that goes into, his finishing struggles, his struggles to attack the rim right now. But he obviously has good length, right, which is something you can't develop. You can always get stronger. So there's some struggles that he's showcasing right now. And today he goes 1 for 8, 1 for 5 from 3, but he shot the 3 ball well this season, like 40%. So a 40% defensive-minded 19-year-old prospect with good length that right now is also looking like a solid in-the-flow passer is just nice, man. Like, you're not expecting him to come out here and set the world on fire and be efficient every single night. You're expecting some struggles with efficiency, especially driving the basketball. I have been impressed with how he's passed it, though.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Something that I don't think any of us could have thought would happen this season.
Yeah, because he had flashes before he got into the league, but it was one of those things that was more of a long-term thing, I thought. It's definitely ahead of schedule.
Right. And in terms of his three-point shot, I feel like when he sets himself right and uses proper form, it's usually right on target, either back rim or in the hoop. And a couple he missed badly tonight. He had an air ball and one that came up way short. I felt like both of them, he just kind of caught it funny and just shot it right away without like really getting into the shooting pocket. The other two threes he missed looked good, even though they missed. And then the one he made was good as well, obviously. But yeah, I didn't think he took like a bad three tonight, but I felt that same way with Nas at times. It's like when Nas used like correct form and had his feet set and didn't foil his legs very much, I felt like it was just much more compact and accurate. And when he had a huge leg kick or didn't have his arms like firm enough, I felt like he was kind of erratic with his shot. So I think that's something with Ruper that he just needs to be a little bit more conscious of getting set in the right motion first before he shoots. You're muted if you're talking.
I was. The one thing with Ruper that maybe contributes to that is that he shoots the ball very square. A lot of coaches growing up will teach you 10 toes to the basket, shoot the ball square. That's not how a lot of the best shooters in the world shoot the ball. That's not how most NBA players shoot the ball. Most NBA players shoot the ball with a bit of a turn, their right shoulder a little bit forward, because if you're going to like point at someone hypothetically, right? You're going to have more tension if you're square like this, right? If you turn a little bit, it relieves a lot of tension in that shoulder. That's why Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, a lot of these great shooters will shoot here. There's less tension in your shot if you turn that right shoulder a little bit forward. Ruper is very square, and you can almost see some of the tension. His shot looks good because he has, elbow in, good follow through, good flow. So when he can set himself and like get into it the right way, he's a sniper. But there is some tension there where I feel like when he has to speed up his shot a little bit or doesn't have as much time for shot prep, he can miss really badly because of that tension. Because that tension will flare his arm out a little bit, so then the ball's coming off his hand differently, and then it's a really bad miss. And that's why you got a guy that shot the ball almost 40%. I think it's a little bit below after this game, but basically 40% from three, but then he has a bunch of air balls as well. So maybe that's something to tweak in the offseason, but he's shot well enough that I wouldn't really want to mess with his shot a whole bunch. I will say, if you go back and watch him in the NBL last year, his shot does look different. He's definitely tweaked some things already in the past year. So I don't know if it's anything set in stone enough that you should be scared to have him maybe turn a little bit, tweak his jumper a little bit more. But that is something I've noticed with his shot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I wasn't necessarily saying his form has to be perfect or anything. I just feel like he's rushing it sometimes or not completely comfortable before he shoots.
Yeah. Yeah. Madden Mobile says, hey, Tori, can I wear my Manta mask during the eclipse? If you want to, I'm not sure you'll see it, though, because it's 100% blackout. It blocks out all light. So, he's globbing the assist to me. Blocks out all light. So, I think you could wear it outside during the day, and it would still be dark. It's a legitimate sleep mask. Anyway, any other players you want to talk about on this team?
What did you think of your boy Chris Murray tonight?
He still can't shoot at all. Like, you remember those couple of games?
He was 5 for 8 inside the arc.
Yeah, that's all we get to
Had
talk
a big
about.
drive
Is
and
him
layup
inside the arc. So we drafted him to be a non-shooting big man. Because that's Eric. He goes 3 for 6 in back-to-back games against the Clippers. You remember the conversation we had after that second game where it was like, okay, it's only 2 games and he shot the ball poorly all season, so, just need to see more sample. Like, hopefully you can keep this up. I'm not going to overreact and say, like, oh, he figured out his shot, right? That was the conversation after that Clippers game, and it was like, let's see how he does over the rest of the season. Since then, 0 for 6, 0 for 1, 3 for 8. Okay, the 3 for 8 is decent, right? 1 for 4, 0 for 2, 1 for 5. Okay, so what does that make him over that stretch? That's 6 for, let's see, 6 for 32. Since those back-to-back 3 for 6 shooting nights. He was 6 for 12 in those 2 nights. Since then, 6 for 32. Eric, that's 19% from 3. He's legitimately, like, getting worse as a shooter. And it's baffling to me. I don't understand it. He was good inside the arc today. Credit to him for that. But, man, like I told you, I care most about his three-point shot because I feel like he needs to be a good three-point shooter. He's getting worse.
Good luck, too. His shot quality is really good. That's the worst part.
That's the troublesome thing. You got a 6-game sample. Or no, that's a 7-game sample since those 2 games in a row that he shot 3 for 6 from 3. You got a 7-game sample, 6 for 32. Like, those 2 games is funny because people started to get excited. Like, he had 17 and 21 points in both games, and it's, oh, maybe he's figuring out his shot. And it's like, okay, we gotta see more of a sample than that to have any faith in him figuring out his shot. In the 7 games since then is a perfect example why we needed to wait and see a larger sample, because it has not extrapolated itself beyond that. He has been brutal the last 7 games. Like, month by month, I mean, he shot 19% in February and then 27% in March. So I guess it improved in March. But last 3 games, he's 2 for 11. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, been pretty disappointed with the shooting. That's something he's got to fix this summer, or he's going to have a short career in the NBA.
Yeah. Yep.
Because unlike Jabari, he doesn't have like he's not big enough to play small ball center, and he doesn't have that elite skill, like rebounding, like Jabari has.
It's just still crazy to me that he is our worst shooting rookie, because he was supposed to be our best shooting rookie. For all Scoot's struggles, Scoot's shooting 31% from 3 on the season. Chris is, 26%?
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah. I mean, I warned it when we drafted him that, 33%, yes, he took some tough threes at Iowa, but 33.5%. He shot 39% the year prior, right? And I even compared his like college shooting a little bit to Jabari Walker's, right? Where Jabari Walker, the first year he got minutes as a freshman, where Chris Murray didn't. Chris Murray's first legitimate year of playing time was as a sophomore, but 2 years prior to
sophomore.
yeah, 2 years prior to getting into the league, both those guys shot really well from three. But then their final year of college before getting into the league, they played a little bit more like stars, shot a much more legitimate sample of threes, and Jabari was at like 35%, where Chris Murray was at 33.5%. And Jabari, of course, came into the league and struggled shooting as a rookie. And before the season, that's what I was talking about with Chris, was like, it's going to be interesting to see if he struggles like a rookie in the same way Jabari Walker did, because I do think statistically, college-wise, their paths, the final couple years becoming a star in their final year in college, and their shooting percentages were somewhat similar in a way. And Chris has come into the league and struggled shooting the three ball exactly like Jabari Walker did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to maybe keep in mind when talking about prospects, like maybe I don't know. I don't know who compares to that, because you have prospects that, like Hunter Salas, started shooting more threes this year, but shot a higher percentage, right? So
yeah, that's the opposite.
Yeah, that's the opposite, right? And that's going to be an intriguing case. Like him, Kevin McCullough, guys in this year's draft, where it's like, okay, they took a leap their final year. Devin Carter's one of those guys. You got multiple prospects like that. They're all guards, right? But that's something with Chris where it was like, yes, he did shoot tougher shots, but he shot 33% from three his final year on a legitimate sample at Iowa. I wasn't comfortable with assuming that he was just going to come in and be able to knock down threes because of that, because that's really not a great percentage from a college three-point line.
Yeah, I just look at when you watched him play at Iowa, just how he was being defended, how he had to shoot. I mean, he wasn't getting open catch and shoot threes hardly ever, and so that's disappointing to me with both Jabari and Chris, is that the quality of shots, like I was saying, is so much better than they got in college. So you would think that number would go up with an easier shot diet of all like kick out wide open threes for the most part. And instead it's like they're struggling to hit threes. So I don't know how they even shot. I know the line's different, but to me, hitting a better percentage in college off much difficult shots and, pressure situations and, hostile environments and stuff. It just seems weird to me that those guys can't figure out how to hit open shots in the NBA.
Yeah, I think part of it is form. Like, neither of those guys have, like, phenomenal shooting form.
They both have a long wind-up, so...
Yeah, they both have a long wind-up, which in the NBA you have less time to shoot, so if you're trying to rush that wind-up, it's a little different. But Chris shot some moving threes where it wasn't really a long wind-up in college, but it's like... It's a little different when you have to take a step back if you usually shoot with a long wind-up, because you're going to be more reliant upon like that upward momentum because you're shooting deeper threes. And I don't really know exactly how that maybe has affected Chris, but neither him nor Jabari, I don't think their form is bad, but I don't love the way they shoot the ball. Chris, set shot, wide base. Jabari, like, follow through isn't necessarily the smoothest. Doesn't have like the smoothest energy flow to his shot. But that's where it's like a guy, his final year on the biggest sample size in college, if he's shooting under 35% from three, there's, I think deservedly so, should be some question marks about their ability to come into the league and shoot, where it's not a sure thing. Because that's what we saw with Chris. Yes, he shot a lot of tough threes, but he only shot 33%. So, yes, you might get easier threes, but you're going to be taking a step back behind the three-point line, behind the NBA line now. That line has moved back, and there's an adjustment period that comes with that, and some guys never truly do adjust. So anybody that shoots under 35% from college, I don't really care how they get their shots at this point. Just seeing the way Jabari Walker and Chris Murray have shot the three ball has made me, that's kind of the benchmark, 35-36% from three in college. If you shoot under than that, I'm definitely going to have some concerns, especially when it's a player whose biggest strength was supposedly their shooting.
Yeah, I get that. Aaron saying the Raptors beat the Bucks.
Crazy stuff in the NBA today.
The Raptors losing streak is over?
The Bucks are falling apart without Dame.
They lost to... no, Dame played, didn't he?
Did he play today? I mean, they were falling
Dame
apart
played.
without him. I guess they're falling apart with him, too.
Yeah.
Bucks got fouled out. Yeah, I didn't pay any attention to that. Dame fouled out. Yeah, I didn't pay any attention to that game. I mean, it shouldn't have been close. The Raptors have been terrible lately. They lost like 14, 15 games in a row. Alex R says, "Oh, well, I'm 10 minutes behind the live stream and getting a shooting lesson from Tori. Good times." Yeah. Let me know if you ever need any shooting tips. And then Nick says, "Not every rookie is going to work out. Some will fail." Of course, but the goal is to always identify the ones that'll succeed and the ones that'll fail. And Chris Murray was a guy to me that I had in, I believe, the 40s on my big board. He might have been like 38, 39, but I did not like him as a first-round pick whatsoever. I even made a joke, I think, on the draft stream, like, we better not take him at 23. And this is why. It's because coming into the draft, his best trait was looked at as his shooting. Because everything else is like, oh, he's solid, right? But it's not like he's good. The thought is like, okay, he can come in and hit threes, right? He'll get easier three-point shots. The problem is a lot of people would say, look at Keegan Murray, right? And it's like they're two different players. Just because they're twins doesn't mean they're the same. And that's where I had an issue with drafting him at 23. That's why I was annoyed with the pick. And, you know, everybody wants to say, Tori, you don't like anything this front office does. It had nothing to do with us being the front office that drafted him. If a team took him at 22, I wouldn't have liked that pick for him. If a team took him at 21, I wouldn't have liked that pick for them, just because I didn't think he really was a first-round prospect, because the shooting wasn't a sure thing. If he could shoot the ball, he would be a solid role player. If I had more confidence in his three-point shot, I would have been fine with him as a late first-round pick. But that's where the issue came in for me, Eric. It was just he did not project as a guy that you could have confidence in would come in and knock down threes at 35, 36%.
Well, Tori, cheers to having Risha and Zach Edey on our team next year, then.
Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully...
Because your curse is going to continue.
Yeah, maybe. What is in that?
I'm trying this drink. It's called Not Your Father's Root Beer. It's like alcoholic root beer. It's pretty good.
It's a good thing to cheers me for. I respect it. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's take a look at Tankathon. This is going to be a short stream today.
By the way, I just started my vacation today, so that's why I'm drinking.
Got you. Nice. Congrats. Yeah.
9 days off. Let's go.
Eric in Vegas next week, chat.
Yeah.
So you're going to miss the... Wait, when's our next game? We play Sunday, and then you're going to miss Tuesday, right?
Yeah, we miss Tuesday for sure, because that's my daughter's birthday.
We'll see what
we can do. That's the whole reason we're going to Vegas is to celebrate that night. So
luckily Tuesday is a 9:30 p.m. stream. Thank God. I'm tired of streaming at 6:30, man. My evenings have been taken up by this BS team, which is not cool, man. Is not cool. So I'm happy to be off this Eastern Conference road trip.
And then, still hoping to stream Thursday from an unknown location, and then should be back in time to stream Friday night, so should be good. And our last game is Sunday.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, bro.
And of course, be here for the stream on this Sunday.
Speaking of crazy stuff, too, Memphis has won 3 games in a row. Then you got Toronto won. Portland's won 2 in a row. San Antonio won. Charlotte won. Just crazy stuff down here at the bottom. Like, nobody's tanking.
Washington should have won.
Yeah. The Houston passing Golden State dream is over. This dream is dead.
Well,
It got really close.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I mean, they're 4.5 games back.
Yeah.
Just gotta hope Golden State doesn't play their way into the playoffs because that is very possible. It looks like they're gonna have to go through the Lakers. They could also
The Warriors. The Warriors are about to lose to Dallas tonight. That helps, but
yeah. This is interesting though because the Lakers are tied with Sacramento. Sacramento might be the 9 seed. I told people before the season they were not going to be the 3 seed again. They were not going to have the same injury luck. Record-wise, they are actually kind of similar, but the West is better.
I think on our predictions, almost everyone agreed with that.
Yeah, but where did I have them? I think I might have had them lowest. I don't know. We'll do a video reacting to preseason predictions after the end of the season, and we'll see where I had the Kings because I forget. But yeah, I mean the Kings were a good team though. Like Kings could get their revenge on Golden State in a 9-10 play-in game, Eric. That's intriguing. 2 geographical rivals as well.
Yeah,
you got Golden State LA, which is also great television.
Atlanta, Chicago are the other 9-10. Is that right?
Yes.
So we just need one of them. Obviously, one of them will win that game.
Yeah.
Whichever one wins, we just need them to
win the next game.
Win the next game, which is going to be tough because right now it's Philly or Miami. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully Indiana, because I feel like they're beatable in a one-game situation. So hopefully they fall down. If we get one of those teams in, that knocks Golden State down one spot if they don't make it. So.
Yeah. Yep. So 12th or 13th is we're most likely to have that pick. Or 17th? Because they would pass my... Right now, if Golden State played their way into the playoffs, they would be ahead of Philadelphia. They would be 16th because Philadelphia is 42-35. Golden State's 42-34. The only reason Golden State's higher is because they're not in the playoffs, right? So if they play their way in, they could pass Miami too because they're only a half game behind Miami. Well, they're going to be 1 game behind Miami and tied with Philadelphia after they lose to Dallas. So it looks like 12th, 13th, or 16th is where they're going to end up with that pick.
Trevin got us the answer. Crushables had him 11th. You, me, and Chat all had him 7th. Connor 6th, Aeromancer 5th, Zach 4th, and Trevin 3rd. That's the Kings. So Trevin was the only one who had him 3rd.
Yeah. Crush had him 11th. Hey,
that's
he
not
might be as close as anyone.
And J Poe's asking, do we get the pick based on end of regular season standings or the final playoff seeding affect draft position? It only affects it if you make the playoffs or not. So the teams that don't make the playoffs will go by record, and then the teams that make the playoffs go by record. So if Golden State wins both play-in games and is the 8th seed, then they are slotted in at whatever record they have amongst the playoff teams, like Tori just mentioned. Could be 15th if Philly and Miami win a couple more games. Could be 16th or 17th if they pass one of those teams.
Yeah.
But if they don't make the playoffs, then they'll be 13th if it's like chalk. But if one of those playoff teams right now fall, then that bumps everyone down a spot because you've got one of the teams with a better record moving into the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. So like Chicago, Atlanta 9-10 play, and let's say Chicago wins, right, 37-40, and then they played Miami in basically the 8 versus 9 play-in, and they beat Miami. That would knock Miami up into the lottery, and they would have a better record than Golden State, while Chicago would move down to the playoffs. So that's why Golden State would get bumped up one. So that's why it's 12, 13, or 16. That's why Atlanta or Chicago, one of them is going to be playing in the basically 8 versus 9 play-in. So whichever one of them, if one of them can win that game, then it bumps Golden State up to 12. So that's why it likely is going to be 12-13, or if Golden State plays their way into the playoffs, 15, 16, 17. But Golden State has to win 2 games in a row. They've been playing good, but most likely you're looking at 12 or 13 here.
And, I mean, it's not like the Pelicans a few years ago, when if they made the playoffs, we'd lost the pick. So, really, we're talking about like 3 or 4 spots, maybe even just 2 spots. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, it would suck, but it's not as devastating to our future as losing that second lottery put.
Yeah, and it might sting less when we take Zach Edey or Kyle Filipowski at 17 compared to 13.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that's going to happen, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, the only saving grace in that is that gives us like 3 more teams that could possibly take him before it gets to our pick and Cronin does something stupid. So maybe that's good if we're 17,
maybe we get
right?
Jalen Tyson if we fall to 17. Maybe that's what I should be rooting for.
Yeah, Edey and Filipowski will both be gone by 17, so maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's see this roll. Oh, Golden State moves into the top 4.
Let's go. I'm happy. That's fine.
I'm not particularly happy because look how well they're playing lately. Kuminga another year, and they get a top 4 pick. This pick next year is going to be like 27th. Okay, more realistically, 24th. Also, that's one top 4 spot taken that we don't get. Yeah, imagine Golden State with Alex Sarr. Disgusting. They need him defensively. The rest is chalk so far. 9 Utah, 8 Memphis, 7 is the San Antonio Spurs via Toronto. So Toronto loses their pick because Golden State moved up. And at 6 is your Portland Trailblazers. No! So
that's funny. It's all chalk except for that one.
Yeah. And at 5 is Washington. At 4 is Charlotte. At 3 is San Antonio. Eric, are they going to get the number 1 pick? At 2 is Golden State. And at 1 is Detroit. And you know what? Detroit might be the most likely team to take Zachary Risacher number 1.
I don't know. I think a lot of...
They need wings that can shoot.
Can Risacher shoot, though?
They probably think he can because they probably just looked at his 3-point shooting percentage on takeathon.com and didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So Golden State gets Sarr, Eric. Are you still happy?
Yeah, because they're trading him.
And he comes in and he's like
all
defensive level Evan Mobley rookie good.
No, they have what would happen is, they have the second pick just like in 2020, and they're going to have Wiseman PTSD, and they're going to pass on Sarr because they don't want Wiseman 2.0.
They're a better organization than that. Okay, we're applying Blazer thinking to them. They're the Warriors, Eric. They're not the Blazers.
They're going to take Dalton Connect at 2 and trade Clay.
Dalton Connect, dude. I feel like if they took Dalton Connect at 2, he would be the next Clay somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, legitimately, Dalton Connect would be amazing in Golden State. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the perfect. There's always players that I feel that way about because I love their offensive system, but like movement shooter, attacking in space off the catch, like moving off the catch. I mean, transition, dude, fits their offense like a glove.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's Tank.
And then we have all next year to talk about having their pick only, unless it's number 1.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to start 12-2.
That exact scenario next year, they move up to 2 in the lottery. We would get their pick and have either Ace Bailey or Cooper Flagg.
I don't know why you keep doing this. It's not gonna happen.
And we'd be number 1, so we get both of those guys.
I don't know why you keep doing this.
No, sorry. there's like a 0.00001% chance of us having Scoot, Anthony, Shaden, Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag, and DeAndre Ayton after next year. Plus whoever we draft with
There
our
might be a greater chance of me owning the team one day.
pick.
Like, what are
Yeah,
we doing, man?
like Anthony says, you really got to want it for it to happen, Tori.
I
Gotta
really
manifest.
wanted Wemby, and then when I was extremely sad, people were like, "What do you mean you got Scoot? How can you be upset? We moved up." After like 2 months before the lottery, I remember we had the conversation. Eric, like, if we move up but don't get Wemby, how do you think you'd feel when like we get drawn at 2 or 3? Hey, like, oh, I feel pretty good, and I was like, I'd feel so depressed because it means we were that close to Wemby, starting to get hyped up that we might actually be the team to get him, and then we don't get him. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, you know what I mean? So I really wanted it. I still got the Wemby wood somewhere. I still got it back here, man. I haven't even gotten rid of this.
Wood for Wemby.
Wood for Sar, although that doesn't really roll off the tongue. Anyway.
We need a type of wood that. What type of wood starts with an stick for Sar?
Spruce for Sar. Stick for Sar. That's awful. That's terrible. Jar of tar for Sar. What are we doing? How mad would y'all be 1 to 10 if we took Reed Shepherd at 5? 5. If we took him at 5. We're likely not going to get 5. But
Yeah. And to me, it kind of depends on how the rest of the draft shakes out. As I don't think that's. I mean, I think if you're just looking at it from like Scoot's perspective, I think Reed would be really good next to Scoot, like as a backcourt mate. But
which one defends 2s? Can Reed Shepherd defend 2s? See, the positional questions make me less likely to want him. Offensively, he'd be great, though.
mm-hmm.
Offensively, he'd be great.
Sorry, what can we rub for Sar?
Oh, here we go with the alcohol talking. You know what, Eric?
What?
No, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I guess rubbing something didn't work for Wemby, but.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
Cedar for Sar? That kind of fit. That kind of works.
Yeah, that's the best one we're probably going to come up with today. I don't really know if we can come up with anything better than that.
Landon says, am I out of pocket for thinking Reed is a guaranteed bust? I don't think any of these prospects are a guaranteed bust.
I think you're a little out of pocket because he's not being drafted with like star aspirations, and he has, in my opinion, one of the highest floors. Like, he can really, really shoot the ball, and he can pass a bit. Like,
yeah,
he's going to be a good role player. That's really what teams are drafting him as, too.
I don't think his defense is bad either. So,
yeah,
like, I think his defense is pretty solid. So,
he has some lateral quickness issues. Maybe he might be more of like a Thibault-esque like defensive playmaker, but struggles to stay in front of some quicker guards. Defensively, that's kind of the one worry with him on that end. But yeah,
Christopher, I hate you.
Flip out for
just kidding,
Filipowski.
Love you, but
yeah,
don't come up with sayings for Filipowski. I'm gonna go crazy here.
You know what a good slogan is? Sleep for Sar, Eric. And that's
Use your Manta sleep mask.
Segue. If you guys buy Manta sleep mask, the Blazers will get Alex Sarr. That's how it goes. Sleep for Sarr. So if you want to do your part and help out the Portland Trailblazers and help yourself get a good night's sleep, you can check out Manta Sleep Mask, as we got a promo code that will get you a great deal on their sleep masks. It's promo code Uprise. It gives you 10% off any Manta Sleep Mask order. They got plenty of products over on their website for you guys, including the Manta Sound Mask, the Manta Pro Mask, Silk Masks, Sleep Masks. They got weighted masks. If you got kids out there, shout out to you if you have kids. They got a kids mask as well in case you need to help them sleep. I don't have kids. I don't know what that's like. But cooling mask, steam mask, this helps you relax. Cooling mask in the summer if you don't have AC is a lifesaver. They also have different mask accessories for you guys to try out, including aroma dots, as well as other sleep aids. If you're traveling anywhere, if you're on a plane, you can get a travel pillow. If you're on screens a lot like me, you can get blue light glasses. I still need to get these because I think I'd look pretty good in these. They also got earplugs, all sorts of accessories over there at mantasleepmask.com. Using that promo code, it also helps out the channel, helps you out get a better night's rest, or helps you sleep on a plane, or helps your kids sleep. They're just trying to help you out. So shout out to Manta Sleep Mask for sponsoring the postgame show. Make sure to check them out. And if you want Alex Sarr, make sure to sleep for Sarr. Anyway, shout out to them. Jason Hawley, $10 donation, says 2 questions. Any whispers on the sale of the team? And second, any updates on TV coverage, contracts, etc. Blazer games? The Blazers
are... Big no on both.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's been rumblings that the Blazers are moving away from Root Sports. So we'll see if that happens next season and what that looks like.
Yeah, there's apparently they're not for sale. Jody's not gonna sell for any price. We'll see if that's true, if they get a good offer. But yeah, they still have 2 years left, I believe, on their Root contract. So we'll see if they are willing to do what it takes to get out of that contract or not. But
yep. And then the sale for the team, I mean, who knows? Like, probably no time soon. Probably not for the next couple of years, unfortunately. Thank you, Jason, for the $10 donation, though. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason. Hope you're doing well.
Thomas Aransky says you could also listen to Busta Rhymes while you sleep.
Yeah. And Anthony said we should send one to Joe because he's always asleep at the wheel, but we want him to wake up, not sleep. So
yeah,
you sleep really,
Eric,
but you sleep
he's
so well with
sleepy
Manta.
during the day, though. Maybe he's not getting a good enough night's rest. So during the day, he's sleepy Joe Cronin, and he needs better sleep at night in order to function like an NBA caliber general manager.
But knowing Joe, he'd probably put it on during the day, and if he had those steaming cups and was all relaxed, he'd fall asleep anyway, whether he got a good night's sleep or not.
Probably had his phone on Do Not Disturb while he did so with the trade deadline, and that's why Malcolm Brogdon is still a Blazer.
Yeah, maybe.
Uprise for Ulrich. Is it Ulrich or is it Ulrich?
I think it's Ulrich, but I don't know.
Ulrich sounds like Old Rich.
No, it's Ulrich. It's Ulrich Chomsky.
Okay, Ulrich, yeah. Ulrich sounds like Old Rich, which sounds like a shot at Rich with Rip City Retro. Tommy
is just now realizing we won.
He was too busy arguing about why Busta Rhymes is like the greatest rapper ever.
He didn't say greatest. He said top 3 or something.
Yeah, which is still blasphemous. Still blasphemous. Yeah. He also missed my Chris Murray criticism earlier.
Bust. You don't like
yeah, I don't have anything against Busta Rhymes, but putting him top 3 is just...
That's crazy, yeah.
Wow, I don't know if he was the one hating on putting Lil Wayne top 3, but there's some people hating on, like, Eminem being in that conversation, and we're talking about Busta Rhymes. Man, I don't know about that. Better than Lil... See... Just blasphemous stuff. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else from our resident Chris Murray stan. Oh, man. Chris Murray, Thomas Saransky, Chris Murray, the last, what was it, 7 games? 18% from 3? How do you feel about that? 18.75. I don't want to shortchange him. Okay, I'm not a hater.
Yeah, almost 19, dude.
Yeah, almost 19% from three. Just wondering how you feel about that. Did you guys listen to the J. Cole diss song on Kendrick Lamar? I didn't listen to it, but I saw some of the lyrics and I cringed. And I like J. Cole. Normally, J. Cole doesn't do Drake level bars in terms of corniness and cringiness. And he also had a Cam Reddish shout out in a song, basically talking about how Cam Reddish never got a chance or something. And I cringed so hard, man. I did not know J. Cole was part of the Cam fam, Eric.
Yeah. Maybe he's bald with him because J. Cole's a baller, right?
Yeah, possibly. But I thought J. Cole knew ball. Nah, I don't know.
Chris Recreano says Cool Nuts is the greatest rapper ever from P-Town. we actually know Cool Nuts, Tori.
Yeah, we battled against him. Is
Cool
how
guy.
you might want to phrase it. We battled against him, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, Tori, this would have been either 1997 or 1998. Were you even born yet? What year were you born?
Damn, that's a long
Were
time ago.
Were you born in 97?
No, 96.
Yeah,
Better year
96,
than 97.
All right, so you're like a year old.
Yeah.
Actually, Cool Nuts came down and performed at a party in Corvallis, just like some backyard party. It was awesome. But yeah.
Wow.
So
Eric was partying
way
before
back,
I was
man.
born, guys.
That's how old I am.
Oh, man. Yeah, we had a rap debate in our Twitter group chat during this game. Spurred on by the Kendrick and J. Cole thing. Kendrick's verse was much better than whatever J. Cole did.
Oh, yeah, it's funny because I wasn't on Twitter for the first half of the game because I was watching on my phone. And, yeah, so the second half, I'm like, okay, I'll see what people are saying about the game. Like, not one comment other than, like, oh, Scoot just hit a shot, or, like, one time, and then one time someone said something about Repair doing something. And, like, everything else was just you guys talking about rappers.
Oh, I mentioned when Chris Murray made a three, actually. I said Swish Murray, and then I told Trevin to take a screenshot so that anybody that calls me a Chris Murray hater, I can just post it as proof that I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bricked a three that went over the backboard, and I had to make my honorable, Brick Murray mention, too. I gotta be fair, right? So
Javier says, do you guys bet on sports or only promote gambling?
I bet on life.
I love betting on sports.
Eric's going to Vegas next week.
I'll make some bets live in Vegas.
Yeah.
No, dude, Tori, I'm so confused though. Like a week ago, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fade the Blazers the whole time I'm there and make a bunch of money." Now I don't know what to do. Like, do I fade them or do I bet on them because it's be good money or what?
Yeah, our picks records haven't been good lately, so I don't know if you're profiting, but have fun with it. Have fun with it. That's the goal, right?
Eric versus LeVar Ball. I would own that guy.
Yeah, just like I would own LeAngelo Ball.
You would own his middle child, and I would own the father.
Yeah, family affair right there. Crushing them.
Airmancer says Tory bets on himself. True. Facts.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Lonzo the oldest? I thought Lonzo was the oldest.
I think Lonzo's the oldest.
Because Leandro had that. He was a freshman. He stole sunglasses in China or something.
I made a video on it on my original YouTube channel with my first thumbnail edit with him behind bars.
That was after Lonzo was already drafted.
Good times, man. Good times.
Tori, Eric, and Crush go to Vegas and be Hangover Part 4.
You guys want vlogs this summer? I take it that's
Oh,
where we're at.
We have Rich is the one that's missing, right?
What do you
The
mean
three
missing?
of you've never seen Hangover?
I have. I don't remember it.
Isn't one of the four of them missing and they're trying to find where he is?
That sounds familiar.
Am I misremembering the movie?
I don't know. I haven't watched it in like 10 years, so.
I think the guy who's like getting married is like they don't know where he is in the morning, right? And so they're trying to remember what happened the night before. Yeah.
That sounds
So you, Crush, and I like get wasted and can't remember anything, and we have to try to find where we left Rich the night before. Because Rich doesn't drink.
See, but Rich is the number one comedian, so he can't be the one lost. Like, he has to be the one trying to find one of us because he's
like the
funny
Zach
guy.
Galifianakis. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
I'll get lost. I'm okay with being the lost one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that what will happen is I'll somehow, because Rich has, I guess, never been drunk, so I would. I'll find a way to get him to drink, and then that's how it'll happen.
There you go. There you go. Awesome movie concept. Yeah, we can, dude. You wake up with your hangover, right? Mm-hmm. But you got Manta sleep masks on.
Yeah.
So you would be dead from the hangover without them, right? But you're alive.
Yeah.
Your life was saved. Disclaimer, Manta sleep does not save lives. Just helps you sleep better, which has very good health benefits. End of disclaimer. Yeah. That's the movie right there. That's the plot.
Someday we'll do a live vlog from Summer League or something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like live shows from Vegas during Summer League.
That's the dream, man.
It's gotten so expensive though. But...
yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream. Hog Media needs to be a multi-million-dollar business, and then we can do a bunch of fun stuff like that easily. That'd be cool. Nobody ever asks what Hog Media is, even though it's like on the screen on all our streams, which is fine. I'm just surprised.
Tori, what's Hog Media?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm not telling you. Needed one in chat to ask. But what's up?
Where's Luis Nunez been?
Who's that?
He's usually in chat, but he said he lives in Vegas or whatever, but I haven't seen him the last few weeks, and now I'm about to go to Vegas, and he was talking about...
I now feel bad for saying who's that, honestly.
Meeting up and watching the game, and now he's nowhere to be found. But if you live in Vegas or are going to be in Vegas next week, let me know.
Yeah. Luis, I won't forget your name again. I'm bad with names. Also, you haven't been here. Oh, look at chat asking what Hog Media is. Hog Media, before we sign off the stream. This is what I've been doing. Like, when I say my day's been hectic, it's because I'm legitimately helping my friend Borna run a influencer network. You guys know that Hogwatch guy that comes in here and just trolls the hell out of chat? And he just, like, will say very suspect things. That's my business partner. So he covers the Padres. I've helped him out with graphics the past 2 years because you guys know I'm a graphic. I love graphics and making them, and I've gotten pretty good at them. So I helped him with graphics for a couple years with this channel covering the Padres, and he worked at CAA, which is one of the biggest sports agencies, and he decided to leave that job to start an influencer network, and BetUS is one of our biggest brands. So I've had the BetUS sponsorship all season long, right? He helped me get that. Manta as well, he helped me get that. But basically we work with a bunch of big sports creators to help them get sponsorships. I help a lot with like the graphics behind those sponsorships. And that's basically our business, right? He's really good at selling to brands, has a bunch of connections from his sports agency days, and then I handle running the business. handle stuff with creators, reporting ads to brands, doing graphic stuff for brands, like doing just basically everything that goes into running the business, QuickBooks, all that sort of stuff. So if you guys were here like 4 years ago, I said I wanted to eventually run like a network, an influencer network. So I'm doing that. So that's cool. So that happened, but it only started last summer. So it's still like, you know, getting off the ground and whatnot. But we've worked with some pretty cool people. B-ball breakdown, as well as like anyone you see with like Hog Media has been people we've worked with a sponsorship, you know, if they have the bottom ticker. So some smaller NBA creators like Clan the Spurs Fan, if any of you have watched him, Lakers Nation, B-ball breakdown, try to remember some of our other big channels.
You do that Ward New York Mets channel?
Wardy? Yeah, Wardy's my guy. Knicks Fan TV. Worked a little bit with them. So lots of big NFL creators as well. So if you watch an NFL creator, drop their name down in the chat. Like if they cover a team, I'll let you know if I've worked with them or not. But we're doing a bunch of scouting for NFL creators as well. So maybe you can help me do that. But yeah, bunch of cool stuff. It's fun. It's fun. It's a grind, though.
Brad Johnson says, where can I get off my ban?
When can I get off my ban? What'd you get banned for? Also, how are you typing if you're banned? I'm confused.
Shadow ban, Tori.
The breeze? Nope. Hell no. Nope.
Oh, Christopher, I never thought of that.
I was a D-bag a while ago. I guess I'm not anymore. Thanks, boys. Go Blazers. Well, okay. If you say you're not, then I will believe you. But I mean, you're
this
here.
A different account, obviously.
Yeah. So what do I? Just because you ask, I will. Assuming you didn't do something horrendously debaggery.
I need Aeromancer to go to Vegas with me. I feel like he'd be fun to.
We need to meet Aeromancer, but
yeah. He says, "When are you going to get the awful coaching film sessions guy on?"
Would he even do any interviews? Because he has a persona that he sticks to 100% of the time. He never even talks about his channel. He never says like the video. He never even says like welcome into the video. His videos literally start like him just screaming about coaching.
Chauncey Billups needs to be fired.
Yeah, like, and then his videos end just.
No.
I don't even think he's monetized. No. This dude is an enigma, bro. I respect it.
Dude, the reason why you were never going to have him on is because it's Tori. Tori is that guy.
Yeah, just, take my hat off. I puff my hair out a little bit, put up the green screen behind me, shave.
No, the story behind that is the first time I watched that guy's video, I watched an entire 10-minute video, and the whole time I thought it was Tori. And because
how?
Well, I was watching on my phone, and there was a logo over his face, and I thought you were just you know how you change your voice sometimes.
What? I don't think I ever sound like him.
No, I didn't say you sound like him, but it felt like you were purposely having a changed voice, but he had I don't know, he has some of your mannerisms in the way he talks and stuff. If you're yelling or worked up or whatever.
See, I'll take that as a compliment, because some people are like, he yells too much. I'm like, I think my yelling is entertaining.
Yeah.
At least I hope it is. There's an entertainment aspect to when we're mad.
Someone's like, you gotta watch this video, and I just started watching it. I thought it was you, and so the whole time I thought this was you. I thought it was kind of weird, but whatever. But I couldn't see the guy's face. It just looked like his camera setup and everything looked exactly like how you do videos and stuff. And so, he was wearing sunglasses in the one I saw. So I was like, you have your Torrance the Timber fan. Like, I don't know.
I
thought
need to
it
do
was
another
just like,
skit with Torrance the
I
Timbers
thought it was just
guy.
like a new persona like that, and I was like, oh, you're doing a film breakdown. This is awesome. Like, you're really getting into it. So I've ever since then, it's just been a running joke for me personally that you're actually that guy.
Chat, would you use our sponsorships more if I did more silly skits like that? Be honest. Would our sponsorships be better? Cause I'll do them if it'll help the sponsorship, you know. I'll bring out towards the Timbers guy out of retirement. I mean, I literally have the scarf right here, so I can easily bring him out of retirement.
Alex, when Vegas has a team and you go to Vegas for your arena thing, gotta meet up there. But you still have to come to Portland too to watch a game of Moda.
Who are you talking about?
Alex Wolf has a goal to like watch a game in every stadium
Gotcha.
or in every arena.
Yeah, got you.
That's why I went to Milwaukee to watch Dame.
Christopher says, I'm surprised Tori hasn't got an energy drink sponsor. Dude, I know. I drink energy drinks once a day. It's like my morning coffee. I will drink whatever energy drink. You know what I mean? I would love an energy drink sponsor, man, but it's tough to sell those companies on like smaller influencers, right? That's one of our business goals is like finding ways to get in with these brands to be able to bring sponsorship to channels like my size instead of just the people most brands want to sponsor, which are just huge channels. So hopefully we can actually make some headway there. That'd be great.
Yeah, I was been thinking about this while I'm working, filling all these different brands of stuff. It's gonna be awesome, but like most of them are too big, you know.
Yeah. We did do some work recently with one of our influencers at Celsius, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
But it's a giant fitness influencer, so yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, we do Red Bull.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many out there. Like, I'm sure maybe if we did enough outreach, we could maybe get something to bite. It's just these businesses. They all want to. How do I phrase this? Like, a lot of businesses still aren't around to the thinking that influencer marketing is productive for brands, even though it is. And then there's also a level of like oversight needed where you don't have to have that level of oversight if you're doing Google ads, right? You just put a Google ad and it's all automated and they play it for you, and then if you get clicks, right, it charges, etc. You literally just have to make the Google ad. You make a YouTube ad that plays before videos, you just make the YouTube ad, submit it to YouTube, right? If you're handling influencers, there is a lot of oversight to make sure they're pitching it in the right way, they're saying things the way you want them to say, graphical assets. There's a lot to it, right? Which is where obviously like an influencer marketing company comes in and handles that stuff for them. But that's where companies will shy away from that and it being a more new form way of sponsorship. So it's tough for a lot of these brands, and a lot of them just want big influencers, unfortunately. So that's the stuff that I've been learning and dealing with and all that. So it's cool to see it because I never knew how to even talk to brands. Now I'm in meetings with a couple of them and talking to creators, some of who I knew before I started this, so that's cool. But happy birthday, Garben. Eric Olson, yeah, been trying to, so got some cool stuff this year. Looking forward to it. Anyway, Eric got more alcohol.
This is water. I got a new cup at the game.
Wow, you're drinking water. Oh, that's one of their souvenir cups. Wow, you're drinking water is what Chad always says to me if I drink water, so I figured I'd say it to you. Even though I do drink more water now because I got this.
Dang, Clippers are killing the Jazz. Happy early birthday, Eric. Are you talking to me? Tori's birthday is before me.
Yeah. Chat forgets my birthday. It's okay, though. Suns are beating the Timberwolves by 19.
They got off to a big start.
Celtics barely beat the Kings. Now the Kings want to show up. The Knicks lost to the Bulls. Now the Knicks want to lose. Yeah, we don't do it around the NBA anymore. Next year I'll actually take the time to build coded graphics for it. I just never got around to it this year. And when we're tanking, it's like, meh, you know. We'll pay attention to playoffs, though. Playoffs should be fun.
Alex, do you guys think the Cavs can move up to number 2? Can they? Yes. Will they? Probably not.
I mean, they're only a game back of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee sucks right now, so.
Oh.
What happened?
UConn just got the ball, 10 seconds left, down 1. They turned this game on.
Oh. Yeah, I can commentate the end of this game. Although you might be ahead of me, so you might need...
Iowa just went up 7 a few minutes ago, and now they're...
Yeah. Yeah, you might need to mute your mic on this play. You're probably going to be a few seconds ahead of me. I got this.
I muted it.
Mute your reaction. We got Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark. We're going to end off with this game. Iowa up 1, 9.3 on the clock. UConn with the ball. Winner plays South Carolina, who's undefeated this year in the championship game. UConn's inbounding from like the backcourt sideline, kind of where the coach's box is. Luckily, both three-point lines look to be even. And we'll see what they can do. Inbound. Ball goes to Paige Beckers. Handoff back. Goes into the post. Kicks it back to Beckers. And it's a offensive foul?
Illegal screen.
UConn's calling for a flop.
Illegal screen.
Wow. That is not an illegal screen, Eric.
Horrible call.
That's a terrible call. How are you going to make that
call?
call?
Up a little bit, but yeah.
How are you really going to make that call? That's crazy, man. At that point of the game,
call.
At that point of a game like this, crazy. Crazy stuff. Gino, how do you say his name? Ariema. Pissed. Caitlin Clark leading her huddle.
Well, even if they had 2 free throws, they still have a timeout. And
yeah, it's not over. Your commentary is paired with my Iowa stream. Can't beat that luck. That's awesome. So, it's what, 5 fouls for bonus in women's college basketball? UConn has 4. Obviously going to try and get a steal. UConn does have a timeout. Iowa is out of timeouts. Inbound. Going to go to Caitlin Clark, and they foul her. They let .8 go off the clock. probably not the person you want to foul. She's probably automatic for 2. What's her free throw percentage? Not sure. Season free throw percentage, 86%. I just realized that UConn and NC State are in both Final Fours. Both those teams. That's crazy. Caitlin Clark, free throw line. First free throw is good. As I said, UConn has a timeout. They're probably going to call it. We're going to end off the stream with this game. Second free throw for Clark is off. They get the offensive rebound. And UConn gets a jump, but it doesn't benefit them because it's still Iowa ball. I think this game's over.
Can't believe she missed.
Yeah. And then they got the rebound, too. She throws it off the back of Paige Becker's, and it goes out of bounds.
She
with
wasted a second. That was so smart. Holy crap.
Wow. This game's over. You can't turn your back to the inbound in that situation. Yeah, that was really smart. That clock didn't start on time, and it didn't end on time either.
Yeah, I don't think that took a hold.
I mean, there's no advancement either. This game's over.
I think there is in women's.
Is there? I mean, there's 0.3, and
well,
they
Iowa
got
just
inbound.
advanced it out of it.
They didn't call it. Did they? They didn't call a timeout. I don't know.
They didn't call a timeout. They just review everything in college.
Yeah. 0.8. They need a foul before the ball gets inbounded. Yep, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Iowa going to the championship again. We'll see if they can win it this time.
Iowa, South Carolina, that'll be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be a great game. Anyway, anything else for this post-game, Eric?
Just appreciate everyone for watching. Hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday after the Blazers take on the Celtics. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yep, been a fun one. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll cover that game on Sunday. Another freaking early stream start time. But luckily, the last one of the year until the final game of the year, which is 12:30. So we'll have you covered with that post-game show. Hopefully you can join us. And then Eric's going to Vegas. And partying.
Shortly after that.
Yeah. You leaving Sunday night?
Well, I leave our flight leaves at 6 in the morning on Monday.
Got you. Well, Fox in here at the buzzer with Scoot hate, even though Scoot's played really good the past couple of games. I'm not surprised.
Who you got tomorrow real quick, Tori?
UConn Purdue.
Yeah.
UConn Purdue. I'd be shocked if it's...
Because Edie's an effing winner, Tori.
Yeah, effing. He's effing gonna win. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you again Sunday afternoon. And shout out to Manta Sleep Mask for sponsoring the post-game show. Remember to use that link, Sleep for SAR. Get yourself a Manta Sleep Mask. They're great. I use them. They're phenomenal. So go get yourself one. Promo code Uprise, 10% off. Over there, link in description. Until next time. As always, peace out. Go Blazers!